Well, good morning guys, welcome to Chasing Chunks TV. I'm Johnny Tosh and welcome to Bowling for Carp 16. I am back. It's been 2 weeks since I've done my previous vlog down here, and I did say on that vlog, to be fair, that I wasn't going to be down for 3 to 4 weeks because I've got a couple of other waters that I want to fish. However, it's not quite panned out like that, and for the past 2 weeks that I haven't done a vlog, I've been down here fishing. And I did last weekend, and I'm back again for this weekend session. Why? Well, I've just got that funny feeling that a few fish are going to be coming out. There's a couple of the 18 come out. It's been fishing really well, and knowing that big plated mirror hasn't been out, then I've got to keep coming down here where I haven't got to go off to these other waters. I can put it off. Knowing this is doing a few bites, then I would be crazy not to come down and do a session down here. Unfortunately, I can't do next week because I've got family commitments, and the weekend after, then I've got another water that I'm actually booked on. So this will be the last session down here for a few weeks. So I'm hoping we can get into a few fish, and I'm hoping that I can bag me a chunk and one of the originals from this trip. Now, I come onto the car park this morning. There's a guy in here named Mitch, and as soon as I walked on behind him, you could obviously tell that this place was the place to be. There was literally black with fish all over. I think they're starting to group together for spawning. They're not spawning yet, but they're definitely starting to come together, and there's a lot of fish out there. I've had 2 tags this morning. Unfortunately, I've lost both of them just due to hook pulls. I think I was just being a little bit too bullish with them because the weed has started to come up and it's getting pretty bad out there. I'm using solid bags to get my presentation through the weed. So if I give them a little bit of an inch and let them take line, then if they get their heads in that weed, then it's game over. I'd rather just lose them through an up pull than have them weeded up and tethered up. So that's where we are, and that is where we're fishing. I haven't even got my bivvy up yet. I've just been putting out rods and just starting to feel into the session, and obviously having them 2 tags early on is really encouraging. So volume 16, we are rocking. I'm on for 48 hours, and happy days. Great to be back, and great to be fishing again. Just a note, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. In this corner, little red box, hit that box, and keep in touch as and when I upload my carpy videos. So I'll catch you a little bit later. I'm just going to have a sit back and just see what comes for the morning, and happy days. I'll see you a little bit later, and I'll tell you what I've been having out of here later and show you some of the captures that have been coming out of here. Some right chunks have been on the mat, and I can't wait to show you. So get back to the session and see you shortly. Bye bye. Right, I've been here an hour. It's just tore off on the solid bag after losing a couple, but we won't talk about that. We'll slip this one back, carry on with the session. Happy days.
Turn it round.
Yeah. Well, show you the other side. Right, well, I've just had a take on the left-hand rod, which I just literally put down to the left-hand side on the prevailing wind. There's quite a few fish down there, and it's resulting in this lovely mirror. Check her out. Fantastic. I would guess this is an original, and another one ticked off the wanted list for the originals down there. Right, let's send her on the way and put this rod back out on the spot. Hopefully more will turn up. Lovely.
buddy.
Alright.
What are you doing?
Alright.
Sneaky.
Alright.
How's it going, mate?
Oh.
I'm already.
Well, you joined me back at 7:30. I have finally got the house up and I'm finally settling in for the session ahead. I'm just slowly getting my rods ready for this evening, and I've been putting out rods now for the past 10 minutes. However, the boats have come out, so while they're having their little sail around the lake, it's a great time for me to pick up this camera and talk to you about what's been going on. Obviously, you've seen them two fish, and I've managed to bag one of the originals. I've just got that confirmed off Dave that it was one of the old originals in here, coming at £21, but who cares about the size when they look like that. Now, I did say before that I have been down before this session, and I come down last weekend and I managed to capture two lovely fish. One was a nice chestnut coloured mirror. I will show you the video of that now right in the corner, and that come in at £24. Really nice fish that was. And the other fish was a real chunk of a mirror, coming in at 27.5. And again, there you go, you can see that fish here there. Now, just going off from my captures, going on to some of the other fish that have been coming out, because this place really has been throwing up some real chunks, and it has been throwing up some real decent fish out of there for the past 2 weeks. I come down and done some video and some camera work for a guy named Luke, who dropped on, I think it was on a Wednesday afternoon. Seen a couple of fish in the pine swim, couple of swims up from here. He said they was there in numbers and they was just topping out, so he put some rods to them, and the first rod rattled off with a £24 mirror, one of the stockies, and then shortly during the night the other rod took off and he had a £30 6-ounce mirror. And again, here's the video footage of that, and you'll be able to see exactly why he had a cracking session. It was his birthday as well, and check this out. So happy days. Put some water on it. You gotta have it. Well done, pal.
Cheers, Dad.
Happy days. Let's slip her back. Yeah, so we put that fish back, and no sooner that fish went back, the morning and first light come around, and he managed to nail Rubik's. Now, you've probably seen her in the previous vlog where I had her at 33. He had her at 34.6, I think she was, and she was looking very nice indeed. As you can see, she is absolutely stunning. So here's the video footage. Enjoy. Happy days. So I'm absolutely buzzing for him, and as I said, I managed to bucket him twice, but I only managed to get it on the first video. But he had a wetting indeed for that session. Breaking his PB twice in one sitting is an achievement that he will never forget. So yeah, I had a great time down here, and just to note that Ash dropped in after Luke in that swim, and I think he had stupid and numerous fish. Again, I'll put the pictures up the corner. He had £30 mirror, which I think was a new 30. He had the football common 36. So he's buzzing on that trip, as well as a few others, and what a trip for him as well. Went away, and this is where I am again this week. So like I say, a lot of fish have been coming out. The bowl syndicate is starting to really respond well to the anglers putting in bait, and there's quite a few fish that are coming out and making an appearance. Now, going back to this trip, as I said, I'm just starting to put the rods out, and I'm just starting to settle in. Yep, 3 Ronnies out there, and one is in a solid bag, just to give it a little bit of protection around the weed, because I am just casting it down to the right hand side. I don't know what's down there as regards to the weed. I'm just randomly throwing it into the area where them fish are. They're just absolutely pitch black down there with them earlier. I think they may have pushed out because of the sailors and the sailing club coming out with the boats. So I've not received any indication down there since then. I am going to go and have a walk down in a minute actually and see what's going on down there. The lake itself is busy. 16 anglers. Never really seen that sort of many anglers before, but it is a bank holiday weekend, so with fish coming out, then obviously, and rightly so, that the anglers want to come down and see whether they can trip a couple of the fish out of here. So rods out, and I will catch you a little bit later as and when I'm going to log off for the evening, which won't be very much far away. Just waiting for these boats to bugger off, and happy days. Right, see you later. Bye bye. Right, well, fish number 3 for the day. Again, coming on that short rod over the baited area, and happy days. I'm quite happy with the 3, and another nice fish for the vlog. Right, I'm eager to get her back because I want to get these rods back out and back out fishing on that spot. Right, well, first fish of the morning. Not going to leave her out. I'm going to get this rod back out on the spots. There's a few fish out there now, and let's hope we can increase our catch rate for this section. Happy days. Well, good afternoon. You joined me at 1:30. I reeled in them rods around about 11 o'clock this morning and decided to try and rest the swim for the rest of the day. However, I've been off site, picked up a few essentials for the rest of the session, got back onto the banks and spotted quite a few fish over the area where I put a few spots earlier. Now, because there's no boats sailing today, it's a great opportunity for me to try and get a daytime bite, and I've decided to put these rods out early than I've planned. The rod that I've just put out on a single runny rig. The area that I'm fishing, because I've been baiting it up for the last 24 hours, it is relatively clean out there. Obviously the silverfish come in, grub around, as well as the carp, and it does keep that weed at bay, and they do seem to rip the stems when they're out there feeding. So that rig went down with a nice firm landing, and I've got a little bit of PVA foam on there, so when that dissolves, it's critically balanced, that runny rig, and it'll just waft out over the area, ready to be picked up by a carp. The other rod that's going out, I did say I was going to show you my PVA setup and what I'm doing. Basically that's it, run-of-the-mill PVA with some really small micro pellets in there, salmon fry crumb, and a couple of micro pellets in there as well. I've also, if you can see that, put a couple of ASM 10mm boilies in there, just crushed them up with my hand, released all the scent from off them boilies. And what I will do with that, because obviously that will be casted in around the weed, that will penetrate through the weed stem right to the bottom, so I need something just to draw them fish down. So I'm using the ASM liquid. This is the concentrate stuff, so it really is powerful. You don't need a lot, and it gives off a lot of food signals and a lot of scent in the water. So what I'll do is I'll inject the PVA bag and put that out in the area. Inside there is a runny rig on a very short supple hook link that gives them no play to mess with. So as soon as I pick up that runny rig, then they are connected to the lead in there. So a nice little clean presentation. All we need for getting through weed, just heavy enough, I'd say that's probably about 3 ounce, and that will penetrate through the weed that's out there. It's like columns of weed out there, so you know it'll go through that no problem at all. So what I do need is, let me have a look, see if I've got a little syringe. As I said, you don't need too much, and just draw it up a little bit, and literally you don't need any more than that. So what I'll do, just at the side of the bag, push that in and inject. Stinks. As I said, you don't need any more than that. That's enough to draw them fish down, and that is really ponging. I can smell it from here. So let's get this out and let's get it fishing. I'll check that out for a unit. That's really long fish, that is. Absolutely pristine. Coming in at 21 pounds. Happy days. Wow. Look at that. Let's turn around and let's have a look at the other side. Right, well, that's the other side. Look at that for a beast. Happy days. Right, onwards and upwards. Let's slip it back. That is seriously one long fish. Right, let's see if we can pick one of these fish taking the fly hatch off the top of the water. There's quite a few of them out there, to be fair. There you go. I don't know whether you've just seen that, just towards the back of the coat, or in front of the coat, should I say. There you go, there's another one. Right, well, I've just seen a couple of fish taking fly hatch off the top, and one fish has just gone straight the way through, just taking it confidently and taking the flies off the top. So just for an hour, I thought I'll bring in one of the rods and just put this zig on, just to give them some in the face as they're going through, and see how that fares up, see whether we can entice a take on it. Right, let's whip it out and let's see how it gets on. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, there we go. And that's why we make changes. So, chase them fish no matter where they are. Do not be afraid to make the changes. As I said, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And without me putting out that zig and seeing them fish bare wave on top and take them fly hatches, then there's a possibility that I'd have gone a few more hours without a fish. So yeah, please, let's put this fish back and let's get this zig rig back out on the spot. Well guys, you join me at 9:30. I am logging off for the evening. I've just recast the left hand rod which was out on a zig because I've just had a take on that, played the fish in for a bit, and unfortunately it's managed to cut me off while I've been playing it. So what I've done, I've brought it in and I've put a little bit more higher abrasion hook link on. The one that was on was the Fox, which to be fair has been really good when I've been using it for my surface line. However, out there is quite a lot of weed, and them fish are definitely pushing through it when I hook into them. So I've just gone up to a 12-pound pro distance, which is pretty tough line, and we'll see how we get on with that. So the zig's going to be stopping out for the night. I've rebaited the two middle rod and the right hand rod, which about one middle rod is out on a solid bag, the right hand rod is out on a running rig. So we'll see how we get on. If I do come back during the night with a fish, which I think I will do, fingers crossed, I will obviously get the cameras rolling. So for now, good night, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll see you very shortly. Bye bye. Well, good morning. 6 o'clock in the morning. All was quiet until about 4 o'clock this morning, and I started receiving liners on each and every rod. Wondering what's going on, I looked outside the bivvy and I could see that the fish are starting to spawn. I don't think it is a majority of the fish in the lake, it just seems to be a small group that I'm watching that are just going up and down the weed bed, which is probably about mid-water, and that's why I was getting the liners this morning. So I reeled in all the rods, and I've just got one rod out there which is really short. It's only 8 wraps out before where them fish are. So I think it's going to be a go home situation today, and I'm just keeping an eye on the water and seeing how many of these fish are spawning or whether they actually stop. As I said, the temperatures are not particularly high. It has gone cooler, and you would have thought that wouldn't have started them going, but obviously the water temperature's high enough for them to get a little bit frisky. Well, it's time to bring volume 16 to an end, and unfortunately them fish brought the vlog to an end early. However, it was the right thing to do, to give them some space and let them do what they've got to do, and there's plenty of time to go out and catch them at another time. But I've had a great time. Volume 16, I hope you've enjoyed it. Caught an original, caught some of the backlefish, and I've also showed you some of the fish from my previous sessions, and also when I've shared captures with other anglers from off here. So next time I'm down, it's going to be at least July before I'm back down, or late June, because I did say that I was going to go off and do some other waters, but it definitely is time now to get off and fish some other waters, keep this mind regenerated, and keep my mind thinking about new waters and the challenges to come. So again, and I'll keep spouting on about it, but if you're one of my new viewers, you want to be one of my subscribers, you want to follow this channel, hit that red icon in the corner, and keep in touch as and when I upload these videos. Right, so I will catch you a little bit later. This bivvy's got to come down, and for now it's a bish bash bosh, keep it tosh, wet nets, tight lines. See you on my next video. Bye bye.